So if you're an experienced professional, I bet you felt this nagging sense that something's just off in the job market. You got the track record, you have the skills, but for some reason, finding that next great role feels way harder than it should. Well, in this explainer, we're going to dig into exactly why that is, and we're going to lay out a totally new way to think about your career strategy. Let's jump in.
I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? You know you're good at what you do, you've led teams, you've solved tough problems, but the job search itself, it feels like a full-time job you'd never signed up for. And frankly, it's draining. But listen, this isn't a sign that you're out of touch, it's a huge sign that the game itself has changed.
And this is the thought that's probably running through your head on a loop. And you know what? It's a totally fair feeling to have. You've spent years, maybe decades, building a solid record of success. The real frustration kicks in when it feels like the whole system, with its algorithms and keyword scanners, just isn't built to actually listen to what all that experience has to say.
Let's put a name to this feeling. Let's call it quiet career friction. And I want to be really clear, this has nothing to do with you failing. It's all about a mismatch. The value you've built over your career is immense, but the way the market sees and interprets that value has been completely rewired while you were busy, actually doing the work.
So what does this friction actually look like? Well, it tends to show up in a few key ways. You've got this amazing track record, but you struggle to position it clearly. Your skills are absolutely relevant, but maybe you're not using the exact language recruiters are searching for. Your diverse experience, which should be your superpower, actually causes people to put you in a narrow box. And you're a strategic thinker, but the application process just forces you into these repetitive, tactical tasks over and over again.
So, because this landscape has shifted so dramatically, all that old career advice we grew up with, it's starting to fall apart. The old playbook, the one that used to work, it just doesn't have the plays for the complex game we're in today, especially once you're past the early stages of your career.
We all used to imagine a career as a straight line, like climbing a ladder. Predictable steps, clear titles, steady upward progression. Well, that model is pretty much gone. Today's landscape is much more like a complex web, with overlapping roles, titles that don't mean much, and a path that's anything but linear. Now, that complexity can be a huge strength, but it's a lot harder to explain in a 30-second glance.
And this new messy landscape is exactly why that old advice just doesn't cut it anymore. Just update your resume? That totally misses the point. The problem isn't how it looks, it's your strategic positioning. Just hitting the job boards? You're letting an algorithm that can't understand context decide your fate. And just network more? Look, networking is pointless if you can't clearly articulate who you are and what problem you solve.
Okay, this brings us to the absolute heart of the matter. We're going to call it the two-phase problem. What feels like one giant, overwhelming task is actually something else entirely. And once you see this distinction, everything starts to make a lot more sense. Here it is. You're not trying to solve one problem. You're trying to solve two completely different problems at the exact same time. And that right there is the single biggest reason why this whole process feels so impossible and so exhausting. So here are the two problems. Problem one is career clarity. This is the big picture strategic work. It's about stepping back and really figuring out, where does all my deep experience actually fit in the market today? Then you've got problem two, application execution. This is all the tactical, in-the-weeds work, tailoring resumes, writing cover letters, and communicating your value over and over and over.
And this quote just nails it. This is why it's so tough. Trying to do both at once is a recipe for burnout. You're trying to figure out your strategy while you're also trying to execute on it. It's like trying to build the ship while you're sailing it through a storm. It just doesn't work.
So, the solution becomes obvious. You have to separate these two problems. The single most powerful thing you can do right now is to press pause on the execution part and focus all your energy on getting the strategy right first. Let's talk about how to build that foundation of clarity.
Okay, let's be super clear. Career strategy is not job searching. Job searching is reactive. You see a job post, you react, you apply. Strategy is proactive. It's the deep, interpretive work of looking at all your experience, understanding the patterns, and translating your value into the specific language the market is using right this minute.
Now, this strategic work used to be incredibly hard, but today, modern tools can seriously supercharge it. And I'm not talking about a simple resume writer. Think of these tools as your personal career strategy generator.
They can analyze your whole background and show you new paths you never considered, help you see where you stand competitively, and literally give you the language you need. The goal here is to crush that clarity problem first.
All right, so once you have that strategic clarity, once you have that rock-solid foundation, then you are ready to move on to execution. This is where you can finally start talking about your value with real, genuine confidence.
But we have to acknowledge the hidden killer of this phase, which is application fatigue. It's not just the time it takes to rewrite everything. It's the mental energy, the constant second-guessing. Is this the right tone? Did I use the right words? That cognitive drain is what burns people out.
And this is where AI-powered tools can be an absolute game changer for the execution phase. Since you've already done the hard strategic thinking, you can let them handle the heavy lifting of the tactical work. They can tailor your materials for each specific role. They can adapt your tone to a company's culture. The whole point is to reduce that mental drain, so you can save your energy for what really matters, like nailing the interview. Now, it is so important to get this right. This is not about technology replacing your judgment or your experience. Not at all. Think of it as augmented intelligence. The tech is your hyper-efficient research assistant, handling all the tedious stuff so that you can focus on the high-level human stuff you do best.
And this table really shows that partnership perfectly. Technology is incredible at recognizing patterns at a massive scale and translating market language. But you, the human, are absolutely essential for contextual judgment, for making decisions based on your values, for building real relationships, and for setting the ultimate strategic direction.
So, the path forward becomes really clear and simple. Step 1, solve the clarity problem. Do the deep, strategic work to understand exactly where you fit and why you're valuable. And then, and only then, do you move to step 2, confident execution, where you use that newfound clarity to communicate your value with precision and power.
Ultimately, this is the big idea we're leaving you with. The answer isn't to just work harder, apply to more jobs, or network faster. The answer is to step back, pull the two problems apart, and solve them in the right order. First, you think more clearly, so that then you can speak more precisely. That is how you win in today's career landscape.